Because what you can't see is often what's most responsible for your success. Success is never owned, it's rented, and the rent is due every day. But lasting change doesn't come from what you do, it comes from who you become. So the most successful entrepreneurs don't just do different things, they see different things. The real power is in calibration, is in minor adjustments, refining and realigning. The simple rhythm of calibrating will just absolutely make you unstoppable. So stop confusing motion with progress. Just because you're busy doesn't mean you're building, growing, or doing anything significant. Learning is easy. Living what you learn is rare. Applying what you learn is rare. So instead of chasing 10 new ideas every week, chase one idea and go deep into it. I believe it's never too late to start living the life that you're meant to live, but you've got to take action. All right, welcome back to the Daily Mastermind. George Wright III with your daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and education. And I want to talk to you today about something that I feel like most entrepreneurs are doing. They're all chasing the visible growth in their business. This is like more clients, more revenue, more followers. But the truth is, real growth almost never starts on the surface. You've heard me talk about this inner game. It begins underground. It's in the invisible places that no one can see. So just like roots grow deep before a tree ever breaks the surface, your mindset, your habits, and your internal systems grow long before anyone else will notice. So today I want to talk to you about a couple of simple mindset shifts that'll fuel that invisible, amazing growth that you can have in your life. The kind that compounds quietly until everything in your business and life starts to accelerate. Because what you can't see is often what's most responsible for your success. I think if you're listening to this podcast, you probably know that by now. And look, there's a quote that I've always loved, and it says, "Success is never owned, it's rented, and the rent is due every day." It's a pretty powerful reminder that real success isn't a one-time payment, but something that's going to go on, and you're going to need to do the work. So it's a process of showing up daily, evolving how you think. And I can tell you from firsthand experience, years ago, I hit a point where my business looked, from the outside at least, pretty stagnant. Revenue wasn't moving, clients weren't growing, and I felt pretty stuck. And what I didn't realize at the time is that I was really building system skills and confidence underneath the surface because I was continuing to use my daily rituals. It's one of the reasons I started the Daily Mastermind. And within months, all of the invisible work started to pay off. And that's when I really realized that the growth doesn't always look like growth, if that makes sense. You can't see the growth. So let's do this. I made a note of about 5 different mindset shifts that will help you to shape that invisible growth in the coming months towards the end of the year. So these are things I want you to focus on that will help to cultivate and fuel the invisible growth. The first shift is from goals to identity. Goals to identity. See, most people set goals based on an outcome. I want to make millions of dollars. I want to grow my audience. I want to lose 20 pounds. But lasting change doesn't come from what you do. It comes from who you become. So the most successful entrepreneurs don't just do different things, they see different things. They don't just try to change their behaviors. They actually see different ways of looking at things. And these are people that operate from identity, their future version of themselves. So instead of saying, I want to hit a goal, start saying, who is the person that I need to become that those production tips or those action items or that activity or that behavior would come from? And when you focus on becoming that person, the disciplined creator, the consistent leader, the bold visionary, the actions start to follow automatically. Does that make sense? The second shift that I want to talk to you about it's a shift of going from control to calibration. Control to calibration. See, too many entrepreneurs waste energy trying to control everything. I've been there, you've been there. You want to control the clients, the algorithm, the economy, the outcome, but control is an illusion. It's an illusion. The real power is in calibration, is in minor adjustments, refining and realigning. So when you shift your mind from controlling to calibration, Instead of asking, how do I control this situation? You say, what's the feedback here? And how can I adapt? And if you want to have success, you can't be rigid. You've got to be flexible. So create a calibration session with yourself. Take time, once a week, once a month, whatever it is. Look at what's working, what's not, and what you've learned, and make changes and adjustments. The simple rhythm of calibrating will just absolutely make you unstoppable. So go from goals to identity and control to calibration. And the third shift is from, and listen to me real carefully here. The third shift is from busyness to leverage. Busyness to leverage. This is where the old game is do more, hustle more, work harder. The new game is multiply your impact. You've got, look, 3 currencies in your business. You've got your energy, your attention, and your automation. Are you thinking about it that way? Energy, attention, and automation. Every decision you make either multiplies or drains one of those resources. So stop confusing motion with progress. Just because you're busy doesn't mean you're building, growing, or doing anything significant. Ask yourself, where am I trading time for validation instead of leverage? Where are you trading your time to get recognition instead of automation? Maybe it's creating content that doesn't drive revenue, and you're doing things, you're micromanaging tasks that your team could do. This week, I want you to delegate or automate one reoccurring task that doesn't move your vision forward, and you will feel the difference immediately by changing that mindset from busyness to leverage. Then the fourth shift is from information to integration. Information to integration. See, we live in a world overflowing with information, books, podcasts, masterminds, courses, you know the drill. Everyone has access to knowledge. It's not the big value anymore, but very few people learn how to integrate it. Learning is easy. Living what you learn is rare. Applying what you learn is rare. So instead of chasing 10 new ideas every week, chase one idea and go deep into it. Master it. Apply it. Make it part of your operating system. Integration beats accumulation every single time. If you were to one time per month, not only learn a skill, but integrate it, you will be light years ahead of everyone else. It's not about staying on top of the information, it's integrating. So information to integration. And then finally, the last mindset shift, the fifth one is external metrics to internal alignment. This is one that most of us have trouble with. Let me say it again. Move from external metrics, judging what's going on outside, to internal alignment. See, we all want recognition. Of course we do, right? The likes, the awards, the growth charts, but those are lagging indicators of internal clarity. External validation is addictive. It really is, but it's temporary. Internal alignment it's magnetic and it's lasting. And when you know who you are, the world adjusts. So this week, define your 3 non-negotiables for the rest of the year. Measure your decisions against those things internally, and that alignment is going to simplify your life, your leadership, and your business. Look, the biggest growth through the end of this year is not going to come from another funnel, another ad campaign, another hire, another big idea. It's going to come from who you're becoming behind the scenes, the invisible growth. The invisible growth nobody claps for. It's going to create visible success tomorrow, but today you have to recognize and decide and make a commitment to push for it. So I want to challenge you with those mindset shifts in mind. Which one of them do you need the most? Where are you trying to control instead of calibrate? What small habits can you build this week that reflect your future identity? Write down at least a sentence that begins with, I am becoming XYZ. And read it to yourself every day. The small act of doing something like that will rewire and refire your brain and how you think and how you lead. And if today's episode helped you at all, I would appreciate it if you'd share the show. But the foundation for everything we do is going to be built from the inside out. And so that's why I started the Daily Mastermind. I believe it's never too late to start living the life that you're meant to live, but you've got to take action, you got to make changes, and you've got to do it consistently. So that's my message for today. I hope you have an amazing day. Once again, my name is George Wright III. This has been the Daily Mastermind. I'll talk with you tomorrow.